Good morning. Basa na tayo ng ating libro, guys. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 22 December 2022. History of the Filipino People, Part 3. Reform and Revolution. Topic number 10. The Revolution First Phase. Nandito tayo sa paragraph The Tejeros Convention. Ang ganda ng papel nung araw, guys, ng libro. Nabasa siya kahapon pero ang tibay. Hindi siya nagdikit-dikit. Parang waterproof. Ang ganda nga eh. Akala ko hindi ko na mabasa to sa inyo kasi nga sobrang nabasa. Pero matibay yung papel. Basa na. The Tejeros Convention. As months passed by, as the rebels found themselves on the receiving end of the armed power with the Spaniards, their leaders sought a timely and wise to call another meeting of both factions in order to solve their internal problem. Consequently, on March 22, 1897, the two factions again met at Tejeros, a barrio of San Francisco de Malabon. The convention was held at the State House of the Friars, which the rebels had captured earlier. The session opened at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon with Jacinto Lumbreras, a magdiwang as presiding officer, and Teodoro Gonzales also a magdiwang as secretary. Severino de las Alas, a magdiwang took the floor and suggested that the convention assembled should solve the problem of whether a new government should be established to take the place at the Katipunan. This suggestion led to one heated argument after another until both camps almost came to blows. Lumbreras sensed the seriousness of the situation and immediately called for a recess to call off the hotheads. Matatapang kasi yung mga yan. Kasi, di ba, alam niyo guys, yung magdiwang tsaka yung magdalo, yung sa ngayon na natin yung magdalo, matatapang talaga yan. Okay. Lumbreras sensed the seriousness of the situation and immediately called for a recess to call off the hotheads. After an hour, the session was resumed with Bonifacio as chairman. To resolve the issue, he prudently acceded to the wish of some that a new government be established to replace the Katipunan. However, he stated the principle that the will of the majority should be respected and obeyed must be followed. The convention adopted this principle unanimously, with the stony question resolved. The Republic of the Philippines was proclaimed. Before the election, Bonifacio reminded the convention that whoever should get elected to any position should be respected. This proposal was approved and election got underway. Elected were Emilio Aguinaldo, President; Mariano Trias, Vice President; Artemio Ricarte, Captain General; Emiliano Riego de Dios, Director of War; Andres Bonifacio, Director of the Interior. When Bonifacio was being proclaimed, Daniel Tirona, a Magdalo, stood up and said, "The position of Director of the Interior is an exalted one, and it is not proper that a person without a lawyer's diploma should occupy it. We have in our province a lawyer, Jose del Rosario." Bonifacio was hurt and felt that he was insulted, for it had been previously agreed that whoever got elected was to be respected. He demanded, therefore, that Daniel Tirona retract what he said, but Tirona, instead of apologizing to Bonifacio, disappeared from the scene. Bonifacio, in his anger, whipped his pistol and was about to fire at Tirona when Ricarte held his arm, thus preventing that might have been a tragic affair. The people began to leave the hall, and Bonifacio, still angry, cried aloud, I, as chairman of this assembly, and as president of the Supreme Council of the Katipunan, as all of you do not deny, declare this assembly dissolved, and I annul all that has been approved and resolved. With this statement, he left the hall, followed by his men. Sino ba yung object si si Daniel Tirona. Nag-object siya. The second meeting at Tejeros, Aguinaldo, who was at Pasong Santol, a barrio of Dasmariñas, was notified the following day of his election to the presidency. At first, he refused. To leave his men, who were preparing to fight the enemy, but his elder brother Crispulo Aguinaldo persuaded him to take the oath of office, promising that he would take his place and would not allow the enemy to overrun the place without dying in its defense. Aguinaldo then acceded to his brother's request and proceeded to Santa Cruz de Malabon, now Tanza, where he and the others elected the previous day, with the exception of Bonifacio, took their oath of office. So, hindi nakapag-take oath si Bonifacio. Okay. Meanwhile, Bonifacio and his men, numbering 45, again met at the State House. Meanwhile, Bonifacio and his men, numbering 45, again met at the State House of Tejeros on March 23. All of them felt bad about the results of the previous day's proceedings, for they believed that anomalies were committed during the balloting. Convinced that the election held as invalid, they drew up a document now called the Acta de Tejeros, in which they gave the reasons for not accepting the results of the convention held the previous day. From Tejeros, Bonifacio and his men proceeded to Naik in order to be as far as possible from the Magdalamen, who they thought were responsible for the commission of anomalies during the Tejeros election. Aguinaldo wanting to bring back Bonifacio to the fold, sent a delegation to him to persuade him to cooperate with the newly constituted government. But Bonifacio refused to return to the revolutionary fold headed by Aguinaldo. The Naik Military Agreement. Mahaba-haba pa ba? Tingnan ko lang kung mahaba-haba pa ito. Okay. Hanggang Naik Military Agreement na lang muna tayo. The Naik Military Agreement. Bonifacio angered over what he considered an irregular election and the insult heaped on him by Daniel Tirona and Magdalo rankled for long. At Naik, he and his men drew up another document in which they resolved to establish a government independent of and separate from that established at Tejeros. An army was to be organized by persuasion or force, and a military commander of their own choice was to take command of it. The document read, "We who signed these presents with our true names, all officers of the army who have met in convention headed by the Supreme Chief Bonifacio on account of the critical situation of the pueblos and the war, having discovered the treason committed by certain officers who have been sowing discord and conniving with the Spaniards, our enemies, corrupting the army, and being guilty of criminal neglect in the care of the wounded, have agreed to deliver the people from this grave danger by the means hereinafter enumerated. First, all combatants shall by persuasion or force be incorporated in an army corps and placed under the command of General Pio del Pilar. Second, we shall recognize no one as being vested with full power except right in the first place, and those courageous officers who, since the beginning of the war and until the present moment, have never gone back to their oath and have conducted themselves loyally. Third, any disloyal person shall be punished on the spot according to his deserts. Such is our agreement, and we swear before God and the country of our birth that we shall keep it unto the grave. Among the 41 men who signed it were Bonifacio, Artemio Ricarte, Pio del Pilar, and Severino de las Alas. The document posed the potential danger to the ulit ko guys The document posed a potential danger to the cause of the revolution, for it meant a definite split in the ranks of the revolutionists and almost certain defeat in the face of a united and world army enemy. Focus na tong the trial and execution of Bonifacio. Bye everyone, God bless.